Have you guys seen this shit? The Trump administration has forced an unconstitutional export tax or export tariff on Nvidia's H2O chips sold to China. This is not legal. This is a single company forced export tax. 15% of the revenues from those chip sales going to the US government. What does that mean? Exactly what it sounds like. When Nvidia sells these chips to China, 15% of the revenue will go to the US government. Nice? That's not nice. It's actually insane for the president to just point at a company. Do you have any idea what the president could do with this? Any company he doesn't like, export tax, it would just instantly bankrupt any company. It is completely unconstitutional, by the way. It is literally not allowed, but obviously doesn't matter. Nvidia and AMD have agreed to give the US government 15% of the revenue from chip sales to China as part of an unusual arrangement. Fuck you, media. The two chip makers agreed to the financial arrangement as a condition for obtaining export licenses for the Chinese market that were granted last week. The quid pro quo arrangement is unprecedented. According to export control experts, no U.S. company has ever agreed to pay a portion of their revenues to obtain export licenses. Not that it'll go anywhere, but they should sue. They agreed to it. They agreed to it. Yeah, they're doing it willingly because otherwise they feel like they wouldn't have gotten the export licenses. It's unbelievably damaging. Would you be interested in debating the role of religion in a democratic socialist U.S. with Pastor Lisa Stenmark? No. Fun fact, illegal sections of contracts are unenforceable. Clearly it doesn't matter. I don't even know what to say with this, man. This is what I mean when earlier I said, like, it feels like the Trump administration can do literally whatever they want. Like, they could just ban the Democratic Party right now if they wanted to, and there would be no consequences. There's actually no pushback at all. I don't even know what to make of this. Like, the potential harm this could pose to the economy, to our democracy, the idea that in order to obtain these export licenses, the president could just point at you and say, yeah, you know, you're not getting those licenses unless you give me so-and-so.
Today's top corporate story reports say Nvidia and AMD have agreed to give the U.S. government 15% of the revenue that they generate from exporting AI chips to China. In return, the companies will receive export licenses to sell chips in China. The news follows a report on that meeting between Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang and President Trump at the White House last week. 15% of Nvidia's revenue from selling H20 chips to China could amount to billions of dollars.
Okay.
I have thought of everything you could possibly say, and then you probably have some more concerns even than I've come up with.
I'll tell you my thoughts.
Well, you don't really. I mean, I've already thought about left versus right and who thinks. Well, I mean, you know, we need money, obviously, but if it was a security concern in the beginning, this doesn't change anything. If you get a little blackmail money to allow it to happen, obviously, why just chips? Are you going to do this with it? Why just AMD and Nvidia? I mean, there's so many. And it's more industrial policy, which Republicans don't really like.
You just want to steal all my lines at one time.
I know you.
Okay.
I've already thought of all the things, and I'm sure you have other concerns. And instead of just embracing that we're basically taxing a U.S. corporation and getting great revenue to try to reduce the deficit, suddenly even the left is going to have problems with this.
So here's where I...
Well, yeah. Like, okay, there are lines that fascists eventually have to cross. And eventually, you have to interfere with private commerce. The Nazis did this too, right? Fascists love to pal around with corporations, love to pal around with industry, because they're unconcerned with regulations, with people's health. Usually they work arm in arm to prioritize the interests of capital to boost both of them, right? But eventually, inevitably, the interests of the fascist, the national interests, will overcome the profit motive, and they will do something that is bad for business. The tariffs were an example of this, though the tariffs were stupid, inconsistent, and widely spread. In this case, this is a very targeted, unconstitutional act that is senseless from an economic perspective. It does not work as a capitalist concept. It is antithetical to capitalism. The idea of a nation being able to just point at a company and say, nope, you will give us protection racket money. You will pay proceeds to us for the privilege of getting to engage in international commerce. It's not alarming because we like Nvidia or AMD. It's alarming because it's an indication that whatever stage we're on of this takeover, they're comfortable doing something like this.
The left and right are going to have problems.
Well, I would think the right should have a lot of problems.
Industrial policy.
The industrial policy piece of this is now we're not even macro managing, we're micromanaging.
I hear you.
At a sort of
I thought
level.
of this. I told you I'm working through it.
No, I know.
Working through it. I like the money
I guess I like the money too.
for the coffers.
Sure, but I think the issue is there's the national security issue, which was already on the table.
Yeah.
They decided to overlook that issue or to decide that it was actually in the best interest of the country for Nvidia to be selling into China, right? If that is true, that it is in the best interest of the United States to be selling to China for competitive reasons because we don't want China to ultimately be able to own the AI business, the industry, that could be a fair and valid reason. I'll go along with that. Once you start to get into a mode where there's an additional payment for that sort of reading, if you will, that's where it becomes, because it undermines the credibility of the national security argument.
Oh, it definitely undermines the.
And that's, to me...
But I took it one step further.
Okay, you go.
Vaush, these guys are mostly speaking with facial expressions. There's a lot they're not saying out loud. Yeah, I kind of get that impression, right? Like, it looks like internally what they're both thinking is, holy shit, this is crazy. But they can't say that, so they have to be like, well, I'd like the money, wouldn't you? You know, like they're clearly aware of the fact that this is absolutely insane.
We're not stopping China in AI. There's no way. And I don't know, it'd be nice to win, but we could use some of this money to prepare to deal with China.
For UBI?
No, to prepare for what? To prepare for the security we're going to need to.
Like, they both come across as rattled to me. I've seen plenty of these CNBC market segments, you know, and I feel like they both look rattled to me.
Compete against China. And for the government, we're going to need, we're going to need to defend ourselves theoretically from powerful AI.
And what about,
like, look at
OpenAI?
this.
What about Microsoft? What about any company that...
Hopefully we're going to win, but we're not going to hold China back. And I guess we might...
Are we going to hold our companies back by charging them a tax? I would think
that's something to worry about. I would rather have Nvidia and AMD reinvesting that money
in their own business.
But now I sound, that's what a conservative, that's what a Republican would want. They need to do it. This is like, there's a buyback story today. There are actually people that say companies shouldn't be able to do what they want to do with their own money. If they want to do they should be hiring more people. They should be raising. They should be raising. They should be raising salaries for people. That's not the way it should be. They should be able to do that. Okay. And I'm saying I have problems. I have
the payoffs. To me, the thing is, it just looks like a payoff. That's actually, it does. For me, that's the only thing.
Okay, it does look a little bit like a mob shakedown. If you look at, I don't want to say anything, you know, because this is the CNBC business section, so we're basically just like sociopathic investment consultants whose job it is to reassure people that their portfolio's looking fine, and we know that overwhelmingly caters to an older and more conservative viewer base, so we don't want to say anything that agitates people too much. We're trying not to come across as partisan, but it does kind of seem a little bit like a mob shakedown.
I'd rather have companies, but then again...
And I don't know where this goes. So to me, it's the payoff... Right. And I don't know where this goes.
Is anybody else scared for their lives right now? Because I'm getting a little scared. It's getting a little hot in here. Is anyone else feeling a little nervous?
Because our other company is going to have to start paying off the United States government to all sorts of things. Forget about the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. That's what it is.
It should be all or nothing. Nobody should do this, or you should just raise taxes if that's the way you want to do it. I guess corporate taxes. I know. I thought of all these things. I
do actually think they're both a little bit scared by this. It's totally unprecedented. It's not the first time export licenses have been denied, right? Like, there are plenty of times, you know, obviously, like Lockheed Martin isn't allowed to sell their high-end military tech to Iran. You know, it's not unheard of for there to be blocks put there, but removing one of those barriers in exchange for a payout is totally unprecedented. Because you're not doing it for national security reasons. You're doing it for loyalty.
I don't. But then again, we come down to be nice to have $40-50 billion to do all the great things that liberals want to do.
But on the other hand, like, maybe a mob shakedown is okay because, like, we can use it for healthcare or something.
What about what liberals want to do?
Do childcare. Do it. So give people a rebate. You know, do all these things. That's why Trump thinks. He doesn't. I don't think President Trump. I don't think he thinks necessarily. Money is money. Money in the federal government's coffers.
Right, but now he wants to give it back, and we've been talking. We have this debt we got to deal with. I mean, it's sort of
I know. Now suddenly liberals are worried about the debt. I know.
Not liberals. I'm worried about the debt. I don't know.
Well, Democrats weren't worried for the last 4 years.
That's true. They weren't, and they should have been.
I know. I don't know. Is this really going to happen? I don't know if it's even really going to. I mean, there's nothing in the Constitution that says anything, but you're going to hear people say it's not.
There's nothing in the Constitution that says that the U.S. government can ask.
There actually is something in the Constitution about export tax. There actually is a little bit, just a specific little bit.
Right.
Nippon Steel for golden shares in the company either.
Well, that's true too. So I would think that...
Yeah, Article 1, Section 9, Clause 5 of the U.S. Constitution prohibits Congress from levying any tax or duty on articles exported from any state. By the way, I know that these are like the before times, and it's like ludicrously naive to mention this now, but it is Congress that gets to determine tariffs and taxes. Congress. Like, the president can't do that. All of the stuff that the president has been doing with the tariffs has been illegal. Like, that's another layer to this. He just keeps doing it. It just keeps happening. But yeah, you can't levy a duty on exports. But okay, so now we're like 2 levels of unconstitutional.
They've talked to lawyers about whether you can even do this, wouldn't you think? Or...
Well, the question is, I thought about this.
You asked your dad?
No, who's going to sue? Who has standing to sue? I don't believe the taxpayer, just like a random third party, has standing to sue. The only person who could sue is the company. And given that
they're the one agreeing to do it, though.
Correct. And they're agreeing under some form of duress
to be able to do it.
Yeah, which is what sucks. Like, they agreed to it. Well, even if they agreed to it, that doesn't make it constitutional. Like, if they were under duress, pressured to sign a contract that is illegal, that is unconstitutional, they can still challenge it in court. But they won't, because that would jeopardize their relationship with the Trump administration, and their export license would get canceled.
And they could not go public and say, we hate you, Mr. President, we don't like this, we're not doing this. Right? Because we now live in this universe.
They'd rather have 85% than nothing.
That's the position they're taking.
I understand that. I thought about all this and dreaded this whole conversation.
How's it going so far?
So funny. Like, they both walked up to the desk. They both had the cameras turned on, knowing that they would have to discuss this and dreading it, because they know it's absolutely insane, but they can't. This is a really funny news segment.
Better than you thought.
No, I mean, I knew what all the concerns would be, and I'm grappling with them, and I don't know what the answer is. Okay. You know. And you are too, sort of, although you're obviously don't.
No, it's not obvious. Look, I actually was.
Do you like the?
I mean,
you ought to just. It's like taxing a company. You ought to like that.
I'm okay with us selling these chips into China, which, by the way, was a bit of a.
Right. You never thought TikTok did anything wrong either. Even though our kids are insane these days.
They are, but not. Yes,
not only
they are,
because of TikTok.
But not
this is incredible television.
Because the Chinese are trying to change their brains. I don't think.
Oh, the rec check. The rec check. CNBC, CNBC really wants me to see CNBC. DW News, Wall Street Journal, CNN, Dunkaroon. That's going to be a good one. Don't go leaving the stream to watch that, okay? Wait until after I'm done streaming, all right? Saran Mamdani, CNN, AI boom, Bloomberg Television. The Vegas loop is getting progressively more stupid. Clanker therapy. Anyone else think the clanker thing is like super boring and forced? Genuinely? For one, it's obvious. For two, do you really get that much joy from a fake slur? Just say a real one, like with your cool friends, you know? For three, saying a slur isn't funny. You have to make a joke with it. Like a slur on its own isn't funny. Like make a joke with it. No one ever makes a joke. They're just like, oh, those clankers. Okay, so it's a slur for robots. What's the joke? I never see anyone make a joke with it. Like it has to be funny to be funny. It was funny for like a week. It was literally never funny because no one made a joke about it. People just said clanker. They just started saying clanker to refer to AI. It's not funny. There's no one made any jokes. Disappointing stuff. You people can do better. Man, oh man, oh man. Oh me, oh my, oh man. What a shit-ass news cycle. This country's fallen the fuck apart.